Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are backing up another video, and guys, for the people that have been waiting for my iCarly episode 6 review, which we are doing today, I'm sorry about that. It took me so long. I had to postpone it until today because yesterday I saw Black Widow, and for the people that have been waiting for that review, it's still uploading on my channel right now. It's a long video. I literally went in on that video on Easter eggs, details, what I liked about the movie and everything. So that is close to being done. It was supposed to upload yesterday, but of course the YouTube algorithm is very slow because a lot of people upload videos and stuff, so it takes longer. Especially if your video is longer, it takes a lot longer for it to upload on your channel. So that's why it's going to be coming out today, my review for Black Widow. But I'm happy that we finally got to this episode of iCarly Revival. This was episode 6. This was a really great episode. We get another cameo from an old, one of the old members of iCarly, of the show. We actually get Principal Franklin in this episode, which was really awesome to see him in this episode. But today's episode was about Carly's, I think 25th or 24th birthday, and she had, I guess, Principal Franklin drops off a letter to her house, I guess, and it's I guess it's something that she made in school in Miss Briggs' class, where I guess where are you going to be in 15 years. And I guess, younger Carly said to her older self, saying, hi, older Carly, I hope you're happier now, and I hope you beat the, our birthday curse. And pretty much, it's Carly's birthday. She doesn't want to celebrate her birthday. She thinks she has a curse on her birthday. So she's like, I guess every year she sends, she doesn't want to have a party or anything, and she sends people away to go do stuff because she doesn't want to have a big blowout, because she thinks her birthday is cursed. She said, one time, I guess my room caught on fire one time. Something happened with the goat, and she's like, what? And Millicent's like, what happened with the goat? And she's like, we don't speak about it. Meaning, that's the thing that we've been hearing a lot of, like the goat story to not be mentioned, because something happened with the goat with Carly for her birthday, and she doesn't like to talk about it. I'm pretty sure Miranda Cosgrove actually said more about the goat story, because they were asked that in the promotional things leading up to the show about, do we ever get an answer what happened with the goat story? And she's like, yeah, actually, that was actually, I think, a true story, that I told Dan or whatever, that, I guess a goat bit her, I think, and got a piece of her eyebrow or something, and but she covers it up so people don't know this, but that's pretty much the story, I think that if I'm correct, she got bit when she was younger by a goat, and it took off a piece of her eyebrow. If I'm correct, because I remember seeing that in the, when one of the people were asking her, interviewing her leading up to the premiere of the show about, asking her questions about the show and about the goat story. So I think that's what happened. But it was cool, the whole goat thing about, we don't talk about that. It's just so funny. But, while she gets hers and she doesn't want to celebrate her birthday. And, I guess, Principal Franklin also brought Freddy's, where would you be in 15 years? And he's like, why didn't why my birthday's not until whenever? And she's like, and Principal Franklin's like, because Miss Briggs hates you too. And he's like, I get you, I got you. So that's why she wanted to, wanted you to bring it to me now, so she wouldn't have to bring it to me later. So I thought that was funny, because Miss Briggs is still, a skunk bag, pretty much. She's still how Miss Briggs is after all these years. I love how Spencer's like, did she fall down the stairs? Did something bad happen to her? Telling me this is true. And she's like, no, she just didn't want to bring it because she doesn't like Carly or Freddie. And he's like, oh, okay. So, well, that's happening, he leaves Principal Franklin, and Freddy's upset because, he pretty much wasted all of his 20s, not doing anything fun because of his mother keeping him in a bubble where he couldn't have any fun, and pretty much, he wants to, he's pretty much having a crisis, wants to do everything he wanted to do when he was younger and just be insane and be wild. He pretty much is having pretty much a crisis, adult crisis, where he's like, oh crap, I didn't do anything, I want to do everything now. So we get a scene where he goes and, Spencer's apartment, he says, where does Millicent keep all of her dangerous things that we're not allowed to keep at in my mom's apartment? Where are all the good things? And, there's a drawer that, ends up, when he looks into it, Actually, better yet, like, I love it because Millicent's, like, told Spencer, do not tell him where it is. And of course, Spencer tells him where it is. He's like, she's like, Millicent's like, you made it on my list. He says that to Spencer. He's like, no! I was like, oh, this is so funny because it just reminded me of, like, if Sam was there, Sam would say something like that. So I just found that funny. And then next thing you know, he opens up the drawer, the cabinets, Freddy, and it has like gold lighting. Like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And he's like, and then Millicent's like, I'll give you this. Since you did that cool, effect, you're off my list. He's like, yes. And then we see Freddy pull out, sugar cereal, video games of, a killing game with VR of a person actually killing in the game. And then he said that, and he's like, yes, this is what I was looking for, a longboard. And then, of course, Harper's like, oh, it's even sadder when you see a grown adult on a skateboard or whatever. And then next thing you know, he's like, yes, this is what I needed. He takes the cereal, does this, and then he throws it. He's like, see ya, suckers, or whatever, or later losers. Or he says later haters. And then he skates outside the apartment, and he sees Carly, and then Carly shuts the door, and all you hear is, he's like, help me, and he falls down the steps, and no one helps Freddy. And I was like, damn. And he's like, oh, shouldn't we go help him? And then Harper's like, he said later haters. And then they're like, okay, going back to what they were talking about. And pretty much they were talking about, the birthday and everything that was going on, saying, I'll see you guys later, I'm happy I'm not celebrating my birthday. And she just doesn't want to celebrate her birthday. She's avoiding everything. She's wondering if she wants to put candles on her pie. She's wondering if she wants to put ice cream on her pie and what kind of ice cream. She's like, I'm just gonna go with it safe. I put vanilla ice cream on my pie, and I'm not gonna put my pie in the oven, and I'm not gonna do this, and that. I'm gonna be safe. And of course, also, Harper is still trying to recover from her not being able to talk to her idol that comes across the coffee shop, or wherever she works. And, she tried to speak to him, but she couldn't do it. And she, tried writing, her name on this chalkboard. But it said Miffin or whatever. I just found it funny. She's like, she tried to say Harper, but, she just couldn't do it. She said, like, he's like, what do you recommend me have? And she tries writing, but she says Miffin. She just can't say anything. She can't even, I guess, write anything because, she's so starstruck by her, her idol. He's a photographer. And she's just so starstruck, and I find that just, just funny because, that's how a lot of people would be if they saw their idol. They'd be starstruck, and a lot of people, probably wouldn't be able to speak. So, I found that funny, and, she's like, oh my god, if I could speak to him, I could model a model for him or whatever, and I can get my name out there. This would be a perfect opportunity to get my name out there. And, she just can't talk. And, she's talking, Spencer, while, she's like, Spencer says, oh, can you go help me with something upstairs? Well, Carly's downstairs talking to, Millicent. And next thing you know, Harper goes upstairs and pretty much, talks to Spencer saying, we have to throw Carly a big, birthday party. And I love how, Harper's like, Carly told us not to do that. I'm really looking forward to going to the other place and jumping off the ledge. Because they were going to go to some, I guess, resort or whatever. But, it doesn't turn out the way that the way they wanted to do it because, Spencer really wants to throw her a birthday party and just make her get over this curse because that's what, Carly really wants, or he thinks that's what Carly really wants. So, he's like, oh, what's going on, Harper? Talk to, I guess therapist Spencer, and, she's talking to, Spencer about, I can't talk to this, this guy, and she's like, and I love how Spencer's like, I actually know that guy, if you're done being rude to me, and he's like, me and him go way back, and just invite him to the surprise party, and you can have a second chance with him, and she's like, that would be awesome, this is the greatest idea you've ever had. And of course, they're throwing the surprise party. Again, we see Carly in the apartment, pretty much, trying to decide what she wants to do with the pie on low key because this is her birthday. Spencer acts like he's at the resort with, Freddie, Millicent, and Harper, but they're not there. They're actually setting up the surprise party in Spencer's apartment. And pretty much, Spencer's like, oh, can you go water my plants? And she's like, yeah, I'll go water your plants. And the next thing you know, she actually ends up walking into the apartment. And it's just a big party. He has a stacked up champagne, tower, and Principal Franklin's there. He's like, I got the alert that there was a stacked up, champagne tower, and it's just so funny. The randomest things. I got a notification that there was a champagne tower nearby. That's just so iCarly. It's just so funny to me. So and then we see Dirk. Which, so we see Dirk or whatever, and, I think that's his name, We see Dirk, and he plays Grady in Sunny with a Chance and So Random on Disney. So it was just so nice to see him. And he also played Dirk, in the first season of iCarly. We see him and his other football player friend, and they're just going like this in between Freddy or whatever, being meatheads essentially. So, we see them, and then to get them to stop hassling Freddy, because Freddy's locker's in between these two guys that just bump into each other all the time, acting all manly man and shit. And then I love how, because they're like, oh, protein is they're like, oh, I think Carly says, oh, there's protein out in the parking lot, and they're like, protein. That's the only time we saw Dirk, but Dirk's back again, and he's guarding the door because Spencer asks him to guard the door. But before that, Freddy walks in like looking like an I don't even know, like an older skater dude with these two, with this guy and this girl, and they're like his skater friends now, and he has a pet iguana. And he's just acting like a skater dude. He's like, oh, like, I'm a skater dude, you know what I mean? Like, oh, gnarly, this, and that. And it's just a big identity crisis that Freddy is having. But it's the funniest shit. Seeing Freddy like that, just like trying to like do everything he can. He's like, at least you went way too far back. She's like, you're acting like, a kid instead of like an adult or whatever. So it's just ridiculous. And, he's, drinking from the champagne tower while, all this crazy stuff's going on. And, he's pretty much, and he also ends up doing crowd surfing, but we'll get to that in a moment because, Spencer hires, I don't even know what this is, like a fortune teller, essentially. And, he's, telling, he invited his friend to pretend to be this fortune teller, I guess, for, Carly to get over her, her curse for her birthday. So, he, says pick a card, any card, and she picks a card out, and it's, like, the worst card of them all. And he's like, oh, like, to break your thing, you have to burn this note. She burns the note, she's like, all I have to do is burn this note. He's like, yeah, if you have to make me feel like, my job is meaningless, then yeah. So she burns her note, she takes off the bubble wrap dress that, that Harper makes for her. And pretty much, she's having the best time of her life. She's like, I'm going to go use the microwave. And, Spencer's like, thank you, pays his friend saying, thank you for doing this, And he's still acting or whatever. He's like, okay, you could stop now. And then ends up dropping dead. His friend ends up dropping dead. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So he ends up calling. He's like, oh my God, I didn't know, like, he would have, pretty much have a stroke on me in the middle of the party or whatever. Like, hey, can you bring some ice? We need some ice. He's like, hello? It just, but he calls the ambulance to ask them to bring, like, he's like, oh, to bring ice. He's like, okay, you guys bring me some ice. It's just so funny to me, the show. It's just great. It's a blast of a time. I love this show. And pretty much he's tried to hide it from Carly, like, oh my God, it's the curse is true or whatever, and it's just so funny, because he's like, oh my God, she's gonna think it's true, I just got her to believe it's not true anymore, so he's trying to hide the body, so he's like, oh my God, here's the stick, because we brought a piñata, it's full, but it's a grown-up piñata, it's full with money and lottery tickets, and he's like, there you go, do this, go do that, and he's asking, the paramedics to come, and he's like, hurry up, and then she's like, I want you to hurry up and get this body out of here, because, I don't want my sister knowing that, my sister thinks the curse is broken now, I don't want her knowing, so just, can you get it out of here, quick, she's never hit, she never hit, what do you call, why am I blanking? She's never hit, what do you call a piñata before? So just get it out. Oh, she's hit it, and he's like, oh, he shuts the door. He's like, oh, let's see, Freddy crowd surf, and he's like, yeah, and then he's like, okay, go look, and he's like, okay, get it out. They end up getting it out, and Freddy ends up jumping. And it's funny because Dirk says, okay, I got you, and then Freddy just doesn't make it, does a complete swan dive, ends up eating it, ends up getting up and says, I'm okay, but my neck feels weird. And then freaking next thing you know, Harper's friend that, the person she idols ends up coming over asking Spencer, oh, since your friend is dead, can I have his hat? And then Carly's face, oh my God, was so freaking funny to me. And then next thing you know, we see Millicent pretty much, she's doing her Where Will I Be in 15 Years, pretty much copying, Carly's like, oh, I know you're, but she's more like, oh, I know where I'm gonna be, but later, older me, this and that, and says, and looks over at Freddy, and Freddy literally has a neck brace on, and just, it's just so funny. This episode was great. seeing, the funny crisis with Freddie, I have to do all the craziest things now because I didn't do anything in my 20s. I wasted all my 20s because of my mom and because me being in my bubble and I just didn't have any fun. So I'm going to just be, try to be a kid again. And we see, iCarly with, her thinking that, her birthday is cursed, which was just so Carly. Carly would totally think of something like that, and I just found that funny. And Spencer trying to cover up, the fortune teller being dead and whatever, trying to get the fortune teller out of there so Carly doesn't see and all that stuff. It's so iCarly, but just so grown up, and I just love it. So guys, this was just another A1 episode, just a phenomenal episode. I really enjoyed this episode 6. I cannot wait until episode 7 of iCarly and see what other crazy cameos we'll see in the show and other crazy, rides our characters will go on, and also with the new characters. I'm just having a blast all around, great, blast of a time. So, I just can't wait to get to the next episode of next Thursday of iCarly. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed my video, my episode 6 review of iCarly Revival. But without further ado, again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of this family here on this channel. We're growing each and every day. Literally, we're almost at 400 subs, so please subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video, join this family here on this channel. We're all about spreading love, positivity, and motivation, and we always have a blast of a time here. I love hearing from you guys in the comments down below, so let's talk in the comments about what you guys thought was, what your favorite part was of this episode. Let me know if you guys loved this episode. Let me know if you guys loved the cameo from Principal Franklin, because I loved that cameo. I loved Principal Franklin. He was the great part of iCarly, so, seeing him back again was really fun. But without further ado, I'm going to end this video here. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.